can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
all in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Mark
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network. He is Pierre McGuire. I am Jimmy Murphy. Pierre, how are you, my friend?
Very well, Jimmy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Just getting ready to bunker down for the big storm here coming.
Yeah, well, we'll see. They don't always come as advertised.
No, exactly.
We'll see. I'll
It's
tell you what, though. If it's as bad as what they're saying, it's going to be a lot of days off of school for some of the kids, which is, I don't know. I like that when we miss school.
Yeah, the problem is that means they go deeper into the summer, though. But in the immediate, it's good. It's good. I was just actually talking to my daughter, Maddie, about that. And she said, yeah, I'm excited. I won't mind a day off. But
you should go look up. You should go look up the storm of 71 in Montreal.
71, huh?
I was a little boy, and the Canadians players were taking skidoos and cross-country skiing or snowshoeing to get to the Forum. I'm not kidding you.
Oh, wow.
It was unbelievable. And my brothers and I would go to the park, Murray Hill Park, for those that know it, in Montreal. And we were tobogganing one time. I think we saw, I'm pretty sure it was Frank. I might have been wrong. Not it was Frank Mahavlich cross-country skiing to the Forum. It was unbelievable. I'm pretty sure it was Frank. I could have been wrong. It might have been somebody else. It's a few years ago, but I remember we saw one of the players. I thought it was Frank Mahavlich cross-country skiing.
Our thing was, I was, not even 4 yet. The blizzard of 78. Did you hear about that one?
The 78 one I know because I was going to high school in the States, and so that one was pretty.
And you know the story about the bean pot, right? Everybody got caught in the
garden. They got
caught.
Well, that's like what happened at the 05 World Junior in Grand Forks.
Oh, really?
They had to put in emergency bedding into the football stadium, the indoor football stadium, and that's when they drank the whole town out of beer. They crushed the beer supply.
Well, they did the same at the old Garden, the Boston Garden. Anyhow, Pierre, let's start off. Let's get right to it. It's just a tough play there for Garnet Hathaway last night against the Nashville Predators, and just got to shoot that when you have the chance at the empty net. Just do it. You don't have to make it look good. Just get it to the net.
You know, it's a good lesson for everybody. I'm sure a lot of guys playing college hockey and pro hockey and even, high school or prep school or junior hockey, you see that and you say, okay, what did he do wrong? Well, he slowed down and he didn't shoot the puck. He was trying to be cute. Yep. But you got to also give a lot of credit to Nick Schmaltz, the guy back checking.
Yes.
And, Nick made a heck of a play there. And he's had, by the way, good year to be an unrestricted free agent for him. Gosh. He's having an unbelievable season. He should be really proud of what he's doing. He's had an amazing year. So good for him. But no, Garnet's a tough kid.
It is, and that's not his style.
It breaks when I saw that, I was going, oh, man, the poor guy. Like, he fights his way through everything. Never drafted. Brian Burke brought him to Calgary with Trey Living. He's a guy that played with Chris Kreider in high school at Andover High School, went to Brown University, had to, basically knuckle drag his way through Brown in terms of being tough. That's how he got an opportunity, and he's made the most of it. I give the guy a lot of credit. I like the way he plays, but he doesn't get a lot of points. So he was trying to probably be a little too cute.
Exactly. It happens. And as
put it to the net. Just put it to the net.
I was just saying off air, and I didn't even get the name out of my mouth. It reminded me of Patrick Stefan.
That's maybe that's the worst.
Pierre said it right away. He goes, oh, I know.
That might be the worst one ever. That's Dallas at Edmonton. Stefan's got an open net, and then Edmonton comes down and scores. Unbelievable to tie the game.
Brutal stuff. All right, big game in Montreal. The Habs get kind of a quick revenge chance against the Buffalo Sabres, who they lost to last weekend. Obviously, huge game in the division. And as we said, they're coming off one of their best wins of the season. And before we kind of tee up that game, because I do want to talk about it and how important it is, Pierre, I've been seeing some stuff online, just in chat rooms and on social of Zborowski, the Habs prospect, and people kind of hating on him. I mean, what gives? The kid looks like he's doing great to me.
He's a leading scorer for his team.
I mean,
he's playing in the hardest division in the KHL. Yeah. All the money in that league is in his division. And, people don't realize, like, I know it's far away. Most of their road trips, he's playing in a town called Ufa. Yep. Ufa's about a 4-hour plane ride east of Moscow. I've been there. Trust me, it's not an easy place to get to. there's probably 2 to 4 million people that live there, give or take, in the surrounding area. And it's mostly iron ore. It's in the Ural Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
If you go a little bit further to the east, another 3.5 to 4 hours by plane, you get to Omsk. And Omsk is a huge city, almost 5 million people. It's where the Russians put their intelligentsia during World War II because the Japanese couldn't fly that far. They didn't have fighter planes that could go that far.
Oh, wow.
And the Germans couldn't get there because their tanks couldn't get through the snow of Siberia. So they put their intelligentsia there to make sure that they could protect them. That's why Omsk is such a big city, and it's probably about 100 kilometers from Mongolia. I've been there too. And the rink's beautiful, by the way. The rink there is spectacular. But all those teams there, Jimmy, just so people understand, like, this kid's ripping it up. He was a second round pick in 2025. He's doing fantastic. What a tribute to the Canadian scouting staff. You get Demidov, you get Lane. Like, these aren't first overall picks.
No.
You get Jacob Fowler, you get Lane Hudson, you get Demidov, you get Kapanen. Like, start looking at what the scouting staff of Montreal is doing before you start taking gratuitous pot shots at them. And one of the things I heard, and this is from a hockey person today, actually, saying, "Oh yeah, he's playing in one of the worst divisions in the KHL." I'm like, "What? When was the last time you were there?"
Yeah,
they got all the dough, they got all the money.
This is what I hate. These narratives get started right online, and they take on a life of their own, and they're started by people that are probably not even there in person watching them play.
You know what? All I can tell you is the Canadian scouting staff, led by Marty Lapointe and Nicky Bobroff,
great.
Those guys should be really proud. And the entire staff, they've done some yeoman's work. They've done some phenomenal work.
Yep.
And Jimmy, just so people understand, Jimmy spends a lot of time with me, and I don't care who wins and loses the games. I don't care.
You love the game.
I want to celebrate guys that do good work.
Yep.
If the New York Rangers make an awesome trade tomorrow, we're going to say the New York Rangers made an awesome trade.
Yeah.
We want to celebrate the great things that happen in the game. Sometimes, like, to Jimmy's credit, we had to start off in an unfortunate situation. Garnet Hathaway didn't score an empty net last night. I feel terrible for the kid.
Yeah, we're big fans.
And anybody that's celebrating that is crazy.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
No, but it's a good lesson to learn, as you said.
A very good lesson. It's a very good for all kids and all players at all levels. I'm glad you brought up Swarovski, though. I think he's going to be another steal for Montreal. I really do.
All right. So this game tonight, Pierre, one thing I wanted to ask about you. Now, I know they've had a game in between, so it's not a home and home or anything, but it's close enough that it's still fresh. When you were coaching and you had games like that, maybe it's a home and home, or maybe 2 games later you're playing the same team in your own barn after losing to them. How much of a motivation is it? Is that overhyped, or is it there internally that you're like, I want to get these guys back for the other?
I think at the start of the year it's there. I think at the end of the year it's there. I think in the middle of the year where we are right now, it's not that much. But this is the part that is the but part.
Yep.
They know where they are in the standings.
Mm-hmm.
And Montreal knows where they are in the standings. And I think Montreal wants to give them a little push backwards.
Yeah.
And so I do think you're going to see a really well-played game tonight. I think you'll see playoff intensity tonight. If this was, 2 teams that were 15 points apart or 12 points apart, I'm not sure you'd see that.
Yeah.
But I do think you're going to see a big game tonight. Detroit's win in Toronto last night.
Ooh. And
the injury situation for Toronto.
Yes, that was my next topic.
Jimmy, changed a little bit of the rules of the game for everybody. You lose Oliver Ekman-Larsson, you lose Brandon Carlo, and then you see how Jimmy, how Larkin scores a winning goal from Moritz Seider. Like, that sends a message. Like, that's a resounding play by Moritz Seider. It's overwhelming Easton Cowan. It's getting the puck. It's making a skillful play to Larkin, and then to compound everything, it's the way Jake McCabe tried to come in and punish Seider. He did.
Yep.
And Seider let him have it, but good. That sends a message to everybody. Like that. I know people are probably, it's not that big a deal. Trust me, the Red Wings saw that, and the Leafs saw that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you could tell they were playing that game like it was a playoff game.
Yeah, so. I give Detroit's coming. They're going to be really tough. They're going to be proactive. I still think, Jimmy, and you and I talked about it both on and off the air. I still think that is probably the best landing spot for Panarin if you really want to try to compete. But we'll see.
So you brought up the Toronto injuries there, Carlo and Ulrich Larson. Those are huge right now, and Toronto's been linked a lot lately in rumors. We've been saying for a while that they could use another right shot defenseman. How much does that accelerate that process, or do not do that because you don't want to get tempted into a deal you might regret? How do you approach that?
I'd go aggressive because I still think they can make the playoffs. I'd go aggressive though. I would go aggressive. You got to chip in the game to play if you really want to play it. And I think they probably do. They got 3 goalies that can all play in the NHL. You got to decide which one you would prefer to move. I don't think they're in a rush to move any of them, but in this situation, depending how long those players are out, probably going to have to do something. And here's the other one. You look at Anaheim right now without Leo Carlson, and they win last night in Colorado.
Gutsy win by them.
Dostal was.
You called it before the game. You said Dostal's been playing better again. So
just be careful. He's playing really. But Dostal stole that one, 40 saves last night. But they're going to have a problem because they didn't have Mason McTavish either last night. They didn't have Troy Terry. Like, they're out of bodies. I think they're going to get proactive too here sooner rather than later. So if you're Toronto, I'm not saying they're the same kind of trades, but if you follow me, they're out of the playoffs right now. Like, you can't wait much longer.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of teams that are going to be making moves here. Like, I think Minnesota doesn't have Jonas Brodin. I get they're winning. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But they don't have Matt Boldy either. They don't have Joel Eriksson either. Like, they don't have a lot. They're going to do something. I'm telling you.
Really guaranteed. I don't know. Well, all these teams we're talking about, Pierre, I think either have or will shortly call the St. Louis Blues because they apparently are open for business. And Andy Strickland, the host and reporter for FanDuel Sports Network for the Blues games and also the co-host of the Cam and Strick podcast, is joining us now here on the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network. Andy, how are you, my friend?
The Sick Podcast Network. I love the name, fellas. Great to be with you as always. Thanks for having me.
And you got the toughest partner in the pod business right now, that little ball of hate, even though that was Brad for Beek's name, that Cam Jansen. What a nasty son of a gun he was.
Only on the surface. He's a big teddy bear. He's a big teddy bear, Pierre. You know that.
Oh, I know him well. I'm a huge fan. I like the kid very much, and I'm really, really happy for him. He's found his way after hockey. It's good.
Yeah, he really has. And listen, you get to know people away from the game. I've known Cam for a long time, grew up playing here in St. Louis. I always say he's not the best player to come out of St. Louis, but he may have the best story in terms of, how he got to the National Hockey League. He didn't have a dad who played in the NHL, didn't come from a lot of means that, certainly give a lot of kids an advantage. He really grinded his way and truly fought his way to the National Hockey League, something you probably can't do in today's game. But he did it. He fought his way to get to the OHL. He fought his way to get to the National Hockey League. I was with Steve Ott the other night, who's now the head coach down in Springfield, the American Hockey League, man, just telling great Cam stories from when they were in Windsor. So I'm proud of Cam, man. As crazy as that sounds, I am too, Pierre. And you can see why some guys were great teammates. I'm working with this guy each and every week, man. He's a great teammate. Love working with him.
You tell him I said
we have so much fun.
Jimmy, I got to tell you, Cam Jansen and I used to have some great talks when I was doing between the bench and he was on the bench. But he's the American version of PJ Stock. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
He's the American version of PJ Stock. It's unbelievable how similar they are. They really are similar.
Yeah, great stuff there. Hey, Andy, as I was just saying, it appears Doug Armstrong now is listening on. I don't know if saying everything is an overstatement, but listening on a lot of players right now. The biggest surprise we hear, though, in my opinion, is that he'd be willing to even listen on Robert Thomas. How real is that right now?
I don't know. Listen, if you know Doug Armstrong, he's not talking to a lot of the people that are putting this news out. So, it's like a lot of people come up with different ideas and theories, and I get it. Who's the toughest players, or what position is the toughest to find in the National Hockey League, right?
Right defense and center.
Right defense
and center. Okay, so the Blues aren't very dynamic at the center position. He's the only dynamic center that they really have. They have other good centers. Pius Suter's a good center. Braden Chen's a good center. But they wouldn't be classified as dynamic offensive players. Certainly at this stage of Schen's career. He can still produce and be very effective. Love Schenner as a player. And Pius Suter's actually been a great fit here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Not the biggest guy, but, he scores a lot of goals around the blue paint, really respect his game. And he just joined the team, by the way, today in Dallas, so he could be a player tomorrow against the Stars. We'll see. So if you're getting rid of Robert Thomas, then somebody better be coming back the other way who can fill that void, because he is your number one center. He may not be the number one center on every team, but he's pretty damn good. And the Blues are looking to add centers. They want defensemen. They want centers. They got enough wingers right now when you look at the team. They need to add center icemen. And the best way to do that wouldn't be by moving Robert Thomas. So, again, anybody could be moved if the right players are coming back the other way.
Right. Good point.
Andy, that's so well said. I got a question for you, because I haven't talked to you about this, and I've known you a long time. Do you think there's any buyer's remorse that they let Petrangelo go and they brought Krug in instead? Do you think there's any remorse there?
You know what, Pierre? It's a great question, and yeah, I do. In fact, Doug Armstrong came on my podcast that I do with Cam Jansen, the Cam and Strick podcast, and we talked about that. That's the one move that he wishes he could do over.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting, man. They should do a 30 for 30 on that whole situation, because it got real personal. It got personal from the player side. It got personal from the team side. And they just couldn't overlook it. I mean, here's a guy who was drafted 4th overall, was the captain of the St. Louis Blues, helped bring the first Stanley Cup in the history of the organization to St. Louis. His wife is from St. Louis. It made 0 sense, and I mean 0 sense, for this guy to leave. And I know he's injured now and he's not playing, and but he still helped Vegas win another Stanley Cup. He's been a great player for so long. So yeah, Torrey Krug. I love Torrey Krug, but he was never going to be Alex Petrangelo, and he certainly wasn't Petrangelo when he got here.
Yeah.
So I would say yes. I think there's absolute remorse that if they could do a do-over and do it all over again, Alex Petrangelo would still be a member of the St. Louis Blues.
Jimmy, you know what's crazy about that story? And that's why I asked Andy. I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it. The people that do Alex Petrangelo's contract, Newport Sports Management, they're tight. They're really tight with Doug Armstrong, number one. And number two, they represented Al McInnes. They represented Christopher Pronger. Like, the ties were amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
It's
I don't
weird
know what happened, but something happened there.
Yeah,
something happened. I'm telling you.
Yeah. It's too bad, to be honest with you. And it got personal. I think how the agents, and listen, there's plenty of blame to go around. I'm not going to sit here and just put it all on the Blues, on Doug Armstrong or ownership. The agency, I think if they had to do it all over again, they should want to approach it a little bit differently as well, in terms of how they approached it and how they handled the negotiations. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of blame to go around. I think you can point the finger at both sides, not just one.
I love how you just said that, Jimmy. Spot on. I agree.
Looking at that blue line, Andy, and some of the defensemen there, we were talking about how Thomas. The other thing I want to say about Thomas, too, before I move to that, too, is he's still young, and he's still at that age where I don't think a retool is going to, bother him as much as maybe an older veteran who's towards the end. Who are some of the guys on the blue line you think that could be moved, or at least will get attraction on the trade market?
Well, and first off, for Robert Thomas, he needs dynamic goal scorers around him, right? Mm-hmm. You can be a great playmaker and a great center. And listen, these guys are human. They get frustrated when they make plays and, guys around them aren't able to finish and, put the puck in the net. I mean, he has not had his best season. He's hurt right now. He's not with the team, but he should probably have another 10 points on the year if guys can put the puck in the net and finish. Right. You better have your stick on the ice and be ready when Robert Thomas is on the ice, because he is so good. But in terms of defensemen, I mean, it starts with Justin Falk. Yeah, I mean, he's got another year left on his deal after this year, but again, a right shot defenseman. He's got a lot of experience, who can play the power play. You may not need him to play on the power play, but if you need a guy who can defend and be a number 4, a true number 4, right? Maybe even a number 3. But if your defense is stacked appropriately and you think you're a Stanley Cup contender, he could come in and be a 3 or a 4, no problem. Defend against the other team's best players. He can still skate. This is the best that he's skated probably in a few years. A few years back, he was a plus 41, put up some points, and then his numbers got a little bit quiet, but he's rebounded in a really big way. He was like, I think he's second on the team in goal scoring right now, which if you talk to Justin Falk, he's going to say, yeah, it's probably not a good thing that I'm second on the team in goal scoring, So they'd love some other players to be able to put the puck in the net. The Blues are last in the league in goals for. So that's been an issue for them. But I love the way Justin Falk has played. He's a low maintenance, no maintenance player. You know what you're going to get from him. Honestly, I think he could be a guy that, I mean, he obviously isn't going to make the Team USA Olympic team, but I mean, he should be on the radar. If they were to have several more injuries or a few more injuries down the line, he's a guy that I think you need to consider. He's got Olympic experience and he's playing at a real high level. It kind of reminds me of a guy like Ryan O'Reilly on the Canadian side who's playing unbelievable hockey and people focus on his pace. But if I'm, running Hockey Canada and I had a bunch of injuries and I need to get somebody in the lineup who can win a big faceoff, who can kill penalties, and who's going to accept his role, like he's a guy that I would consider. But again, it's Canada. They got a million other options to even
consider. I'll tell you one thing. Canada remembers 2002 like it was yesterday, and they had a guy named Yzerman do the very same thing, and he was playing on one leg in those Salt Lake City Olympics. You're spot on that. I have a question for you that probably isn't going to be very popular in St. Louis. How the heck could their goal differential be minus 50? That's as bad as the Vancouver Canucks. That come on, with that coaching staff, what the heck's going on there, Andy?
Yeah, it's not good. And both goalies got off to very average to below average starts. So I think it starts with the goaltending. Now, Jordan Binnington picked it up, and he's had some games in there recently where he hasn't been as good, and he's trying to find that consistency. I know he got together with John Cooper recently when Tampa Bay was in town. They met face-to-face, and they sat down and had a real honest conversation, and Coop really pumped his tires. I think that's one thing John Cooper can do. Jordan Binnington left that meeting feeling really good about himself, having some confidence. I even said to Binnington, I said, did he tell you that you're his guy? And he just smiled and said, no comment, So I'm sure something like that was said. I wouldn't be surprised if Binnington's in there for game one I think it's a more difficult situation to throw Logan Thompson in there for game one than have to turn to Binnington. Davey Alexander, who's an unbelievable goalie coach. He's the goalie coach here in St. Louis. He's the Canada goalie coach. He and Jordan Binnington are like this, man. They've got an unbelievable relationship. So the goaltending was not good. Now, I will say this, Joel Hofer, this guy is going to be an absolute superstar. He is a stud, man. And you talk about 4 years from now, he will be on Team Canada. I don't think there's any question. You could certainly make a case that he could be on there now, that he's the best Canadian goaltender on the roster. Certainly has played the better of the two. But listen, defensively, they haven't been good enough. They don't box out well enough. They don't defend down low. They give up way too many goals around the blue paint in front of the net. And if you can't defend in that area of the ice, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And it was a combination of, I think, how they played defensively, and it's not just on the defenseman, but they haven't been able to find a real consistent third pair. Logan Mailloux has been kind of a work in progress, although he's been playing way better as of late, and this kid's going to be a good player. Tyler Tucker, they gave him an opportunity. It's the first year where he knew he was going to be on the team coming into the season. They miss Ryan Suter, to be honest with you. This guy was so important to the team last year. He was a partner of Tyler Tucker. I've talked to Tucker about this a lot. He really misses kind of having that, veteran player playing next to him. So they tried him and Mailloux together to start the season. That didn't work, and they've kind of moved some guys up and down. Look at Cam Fowler, how he played last year when he came over from St. Louis, and how he carried that over into the playoffs. He just hasn't had the same level of production and been the same player this year for whatever reason. And he still has 3 years left in his contract after the contract extension following this year. So collectively, defensively, not good enough.
Jimmy, before you go, I want to do a follow-through on this one. Pavel Buchnevich ices the puck in Winnipeg last year. It leads to the series-winning goal. I watched the team skate off the ice. I know they were heartbroken. Do you think there was carryover from last year to this year in terms of how that happened, Andy?
Possibly. We were just in Winnipeg. I'm in Dallas now. We were just in Winnipeg, and that team was the President's Trophy winner last year.
Yeah.
And look at where they're at.
Yeah.
I think there's like 7 or 8 teams right now in the playoff picture that didn't make the playoffs last year.
Well, there are a lot.
It's so tough to predict. So was there carryover? I would want to say no, because they had a lot of time to get over it. But you talk about losing in heartbreaking fashion. They just blew Winnipeg out the doors on home ice. I mean, they were chasing Hellebuck out of, he was getting chased every game. And then the games in Winnipeg were much different, but they had a lead. 1.6 seconds left.
I know. Don't worry.
I mean, 1 point. And listen, last year that was a major issue when they would they got scored on, 5-on-6, when the opposing team would pull the goaltender. I mean, they had to led the league last year. If they didn't lead the league, they were right up there. And so that was a big point of emphasis this year for the coaching staff to wrap their arms around that and correct that problem. And they still have had their issues with that at times this year, but they've been much better at it. But man, I don't know, Pierre. I mean, it's a fair question, but I look at some of these other teams. I just think it's like, how much carryover is there from year to year? You just got to have good goaltending. You got to be able to defend, and when you don't do those areas very well, then this is where you're going to be. But the goaltending's been better, and Hofer's been unbelievable. Look at how he's built his game. Look at his splits from October into November, December, January. This guy's going to be a superstar.
It's a great point. It's very fair. Very fair.
And then my final one for you, just because we have a lot of Montreal listeners and viewers here. What has been your take on Mayo this season? And in your opinion so far, what does he need to improve the most with his game?
Well, I think the other night in Winnipeg, he played his 41st career NHL game. I mean, that kind of shows you where he's at.
Right.
And, right shot defensemen, centers. I mean, you need those type of players. They moved on from Zachary Bolduc. A lot of people were like, oh, my God, what are you doing? Bolduc scores a couple of goals his first few games, and then he kind of, hasn't been able to, maintain that
line right now.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to maintain that consistency. So Mayhew's been really – listen, when you don't talk about Mayhew, that tells you that his game is starting to build in the right direction, and he's playing some good hockey. And you look at the way he skates – he's naturally instinctive in terms of how he likes to play deep in the offensive zone. So you're going to start to see that production pick up. They believe that he can be a power play guy down the line. You look at a guy like Philip Broberg, who people don't realize how good he is. He makes the Swedish Olympic team. You watch this guy skate. I got more text messages from national media who are like, well, how does this guy make the Swedish national team? I'm like, do you watch the games?
No, they don't.
I mean, they watch this kid skate. I know he doesn't have 40 or 50 points, but I mean, it's not always about point production, man.
No.
This guy is a one-man breakout. So, and I think Mayhew has that type of ability. He's just getting his feet underneath him. He was making some mistakes. They sent him down for a handful of games. I think that was good for him. He's been a much better, much different player since he's come back up from Springfield. This year, I almost wanted to say, I don't want to cancel out this season, but I think the real, evaluation of Logan Mayhew begins next year for me, and maybe even the year after that.
I love how you said that. That's absolutely true. I'm going to just, not to get too personal, but how is Kelly Chase doing? And one of my favorites, I used to go in there. He used to let me share his office all the time. You know how many games I did in St. Louis over the years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So big fan of Kelly. How's he doing?
Yeah, we love Chaser. Well, he just got the Blue Note Award. The Blues do a great job with the St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame. I'm on the committee for it, man. I love that. They've done this the last 3-4 years now. Mike Caruso and company do an unbelievable job putting that whole thing together. Yeah. So he gets the True Blue Award. A lot of former teammates came back. It was an incredible group of alumni that were there. And, he's in remission, and so that's the positive. He still has a lot of, work to do. This guy is as tough as you're going to find. He's been through it, man. I mean, the last 2-3 years have not been easy, and his body's taking a toll. But, I believe he's going to be able to come out of this, man. And he's going to be, find a way to kind of show the perseverance and that strength that he's shown throughout the course of his NHL career. Now he's doing it in this fight with cancer. But from what I understand, he's in remission. I spent some time with him, obviously, that night, and then the after party as well. He was still at the after party. No surprise there.
Brett Hall must have been there.
Holly was there, man. Holly was there. If Holly's there, it's always a great event, right? So
once you leave, it's last call. That's when you know it's last call.
I love Holly, but even Brendan Morrow came back. There's a lot of people, and Sean Payton, who's coaching with the Denver Broncos, he and Kelly Chase have become really good friends too. So Garth Brooks was there to support Kelly Chase at the event. Yeah, so his reach extends way beyond just the ice rink. So, but he's doing good, man. He's been fighting big time, and he's going to get through this. And Kelly Chase, man, he's everywhere. You still see him everywhere, which is a good sign.
You're a gentleman for coming on, Andy, and that was a great report. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Well, best to Kelly,
Thank
too.
you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it. You guys are the best. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it as always.
Thank
you,
you.
Join us here from the Cam and Strick podcast. Oh, I like talking to him. He's
a hockey man. He's a hockey man. He's a true hockey man. He cares. He watches games.
Very big.
I used to go into St. Louis a lot, and always enjoyed talking to him. Really enjoyed my time with Kelly, Chase. I saw a lot of coaches come and go in St. Louis, but all the guys that were around the rink were always awesome. Really, really good. Really good.
He's a rink rat, Pierre. I mean, I have friends that go out and they bring their teams. They've been in tournaments out in St. Louis, and they're like, "Hey, do you know the guy Andy Strickland? He works in the media." I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Yeah, he was just sitting there watching hockey with us and talking."
He loves being at the rink.
Yep.
He knows all the kids. There was a run there where Matthew, Brady, Clayton Keller. You start looking all the guys that came out of there. Jeff Brown's boy was out of there. There were a lot of guys that came out of there. Luke Cunnin. There were a ton of guys out of St. Louis back in the day, like a ton of them.
Yeah. They must have had a good team at the brick tournament back then, huh?
You know what? I don't know if they did the brick. Minnesota always had Denny Savard, Chicago. Like they always those teams are like the brick though. Jimmy, someday I'm going to show you the rosters of when my son played in the brick.
I can't imagine.
And one of the players, and they were the co-MVPs of game one. It was Shane Doan's son and my son. The game ended 2-2. Ryan scored 2 and Josh Doan scored 2.
Wow.
Josh just got a huge contract.
Congratulations to him.
Yep. Really good. And Shane and I were sitting in the stands howling because we were watching, and the coaches figured it out. Just let them beat each other up. And then it turns out, Ryan goes to Colgate and Doan's boy goes to Arizona State. And the first 2 games in the new building in Arizona State, Josh Doan scored the first goal for the home team. Ryan scored the first ever visitors goal. It's amazing. No, it's true. So it's these kids are like been tracking each other. They played in the brick against each other. They played in the Quebec Pee Wee tournament and then eventually played college. And now, good for Josh. He's in the NHL. Yeah.
Great stuff. Good stuff. All right. Let's, what's good stuff is the food you can get over at Vago Italian. We can go right now, and they combine old world classics, new Italian dishes for over 23 years, private dining rooms for any occasion, open Monday to Saturday evenings, and lunch from Tuesday to Friday. They are located at 1336 Green Avenue in Westmount. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Again, that is 514-846-1414. And of course, our friends over at Betway, you can still go all the way with Betway and bet those beauties. And again, if you're not a new member, I'm sure we have plenty of members now, I hope, after watching the eye test. But if for some reason you hadn't gotten around to signing up yet, go to that QR code right in front of you and fill out the welcome form there, and you'll get up to $300 back on your first deposit, even if you lose your first bet. I hope you're not doing that a lot when you listen to me, but we'll try and guide you.
You've been good. You've been really good.
Been all right lately. I'm getting it back.
I pay attention. I just don't do it, but I pay attention.
Well, anyhow, I use a lot of what you teach me about the game, Pierre. I know you're not the betting person, but there's some intricacies that help me when I make these picks. Anyhow, go there right now. You must be 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Always bet responsibly, and the deal is not available in Ontario. All right, let's go to my picks for tonight. We'll go right to Montreal. Aforementioned game we discussed, the Sabres and the Canadiens at the Bell Center. I like the Canadiens to get a little revenge for the last game against the Sabres there. Give me the Canadiens on the puck line at plus 205. Then we'll shoot down to Boston. The Boston Bruins back from a little mini road trip. Tough loss in Dallas. They welcome in former Bruins coach Bruce Cassidy and the Golden Knights. I like the Golden Knights in this on the money line at minus 140. I also like them to get the first goal of the game at plus 110. And then I'm going to take you out. We mentioned Dallas there. I like them to win in Columbus on the money line minus 115. And before I move on from that game, congratulations to one of Pierre and I's favorite, Charlie Coyle, playing his 1,000th game tonight in Columbus. And then I'm going to go out to Edmonton, where the Edmonton Oilers are hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins. And man, I kind of wish Stuart Skinner didn't get the start last night, Pierre. Would have been nice for him to start against his former team. And that's why I like Edmonton in this. I like them to go over 3.5 goals. You can get that at -110. Those are my picks for tonight. Let's rock. What do we got? Smoke, what's up, buddy? Pierre, do you find it interesting that Drury said they need more speed in the letter, and then they trade away? They already traded away Kreider, one of their fastest players.
Keandre Miller wasn't a slow guy either.
Nope.
You know what? I'm gonna let the Rangers just craft their own history.
Yeah. The one thing I'll bring it up, I brought it up to Pierre too, and I urge you to check out the column he wrote. Peter Bow in The Athletic spoke to a lot of the players about the letter they went out. And if you recall, Chris Drury had said he had notified or spoken with each player individually before putting this letter out publicly, and Lafreniere denied that. So that's going to be interesting. I know he's in the middle of a lot of rumors there. I just think it's almost a fait accompli that he gets a.
I'm just going to go on the record now. If I were coaching in the league, I would want that kid on my team. I'd want to work with him. I really would. I really would. Yep. I talked to one of my old players this morning for a long time, and he said, "Oh, you really would like that, wouldn't you?" I said, "Oh, would I ever?"
Yeah,
I would love to do that if I were back working as a coach. Yep. I think that kid's got a chance to be really good.
Yeah,
I really do.
Interesting situation to watch there. All right, next question. Gerbs, does Shane Wright for there you go, Lafreniere makes sense. It is a fair trade, or does one team have to add?
Oh, I would never do that one for one if I was New York Rangers. No chance. No chance. They have to put something else in there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, next question. Marco BG. If the Habs went out and got Robert Thomas, but it was at the expense of Kapanen, would you make that deal?
Yes.
I would in a heartbeat, but according to Andy Strickland, don't count on Robert Thomas.
I don't think there's in a rush to move Robert Thomas.
No, it's gonna
I'm very comfortable saying this. St. Louis doesn't leak.
No.
I'm just telling you, they don't leak.
You know what this is to me, Pierre? This is individuals from certain markets who would love to see that player on the team they cover. Creating this rumor. All right.
Look at I'm telling you right now, Al McInnes doesn't leak.
No.
And Doug Armstrong doesn't leak. And I'd be shocked if Monty's leaking, and I know Claude Julien doesn't leak.
Yeah.
So they don't leak. They just put Steve Ott down in the American Hockey League.
Yeah.
You know, because they're trying to work on their prospects. I'm just telling you, like all this stuff, St. Louis doing this, that maybe they are, but they're not getting that intel from the front office.
No. And Armstrong came out and said, I am open for business. He said that publicly, and that's that. But he didn't specify any guys. No. So, all right, next question. Sound the siren. What's up, my friend? At this point in the year, would you say the Penguins are the biggest surprise? And would you entertain re-signing a 40-year-old Geno Malkin for 1 year?
Oh, gosh, I'd sign Malkin
yes,
right away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are they the biggest surprise? That's a great question.
Positive, I say yes.
But, Jimmy, you and I both wanted and thought Anaheim was going to do really well. And right now they're in the top 3 of their division. Now they're dealing with a lot of injuries, like no Carlson, no Troy Terry, no Mason McTavish, but they're getting goaltending and their D starting around into form. So I would think that they would be one of the true surprises as well. But Pittsburgh's definitely in that discussion. And I'll just add one more. Who had the New York Islanders as a playoff team?
That could be it, actually.
Because I know that all the pundits had Patrick Roy as the first coach fired. And that hasn't taken place.
And if you look at that team, I think, Pierre, that's a direct result of coaching.
I think Patty's done an amazing job. I think Patty's done a fantastic job there. And then one other surprise, because I don't want to cut people out. I think what Ryan Morsofsky and Brian Wiseman have done in San Jose.
There's a lot of good surprises.
Like that's a really big surprise. You know, most people, if this would have been next year, I think people would have said, yeah, we get it. We get it. It's this year.
Yeah.
And that 71 there, he's something else. Like he's something else.
He's amazing. All right, next question. Gabriel Lamb, what's up, Gabe? Pierre, have you been to Vladivostok? I don't know.
Vladivostok. It's over by, it's over by Japan.
Yes.
It's over on the Pacific Ocean. No, I have not been to
Oh,
Vladivostok.
wow. We actually found a spot in the map.
I think I could be wrong, but I think it's an 11-hour flight from Moscow.
That's insane.
I've been like Omsk is almost 8 hours.
Wow.
It's almost 8 hours. Yeah.
All right. Next question. David Robinson, looking at Italy's forwards, is Tommaso De Luca the one to watch during these Olympics?
They went a different way that I thought they would go building their team.
Yeah, don't they usually grab some?
Yeah, they usually do. Like I remember doing world championships when the Austrians, we got all these Dutch Canadians. They'd be coming like, "Hey, Pierre, how you doing, baby?" I mean, Austrian Canadians, they'd be high fiving at the bench. I have no idea. I don't
know enough about the players, Dave, either.
I looked at their roster the other day because I am doing some Olympic work for NBC, and I don't think I know too many of these guys. So
we're gonna have to do some.
I got some work to do. All
right. Next question. Randy Workman, do you think the Flames flip White Cloud?
Boy, Randy, it's a big rumor out there today. Like I said, I was talking to one of my old players today, and he asked the same question. And he's involved in the game. And he said, "What do you think, Em?" And I said, "Oh, I like the kid a lot. I know the kid. I know the player. He's a winner." Did you see, by the way, for those that haven't seen it, go look at his press availability yesterday in Calgary.
Yeah, I saw it.
Wow. That's the kind of guy you want in your room. He is a leader. He is an amazing young man. Wow, was he good. He was so good.
I can tell you, too, and you probably heard the same thing. I mean, I was told that they immediately were getting calls from, like, within 24 hours of them acquiring him. But here's what I'll say. What you just further on what you just said, don't you think it's wise to maybe keep a guy on a really good contract like that that seems like a leader that can help? You're getting younger. You want to progress these guys, kind of like the Canadians when they kept guys like Savard around just to help the young kids. I think you keep him.
I put a letter on him as soon as the season's over saying, you know what, we're really excited about next year. We're going to have him play with Kevin Ball. We think that's a great tandem, and we're putting a letter on this guy.
Yeah.
And we want him to find a place to live here in Calgary. We don't want him living at the hotel, and he's got a fiance now, and he's about to get married, and we want this guy to be part of the fabric of our team going forward. I'm a huge fan. I told a story. He went to Minji State. LA Kings brought him to their rookie development camp. They could have signed him. They could have signed him, and they chose not to. And that's when but he's good. Kelly McCrimmon, he knows all those kids from Brandon, Manitoba. He snatched them up right away. He just said, "Nope, you're coming with us." He just snatched them up.
All right. Next question. What do we got? Hendricks that can play. Jimmy was speaking of behind-the-scenes stuff earlier in the show. Can you guys share? Oh, this was from yesterday. We didn't get good behind-the-scenes hockey story. Let us think about one. We don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
Well, I can tell one. I feel good about this one. The 2009 Stanley Cup, when Pittsburgh won, they got blown out in Game 5. And I was sitting in the studio by myself in Detroit in Joe Louis Arena, and I was getting up to walk out of the rink, and Mario Lemieux was there because we were right by the visitors team dressing room, Jimmy. And Mario says, "Hey, can I talk with you?" And I said, "Absolutely." His nickname's Ace. I said, "Sure, Ace, no problem." And he says, "How do you feel?" I said, "I feel great." I said, "I'm sorry about the game today. I feel bad. You guys have battled so hard." He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "We're going to win this series." I go, "Really?" He goes, "You don't think we are?" I said, "Mario, if I knew you were playing, I'd say you are going to win the series. But I know that ship sailed a long time ago, and you're not playing anymore." And he said to me, "You watch." And what he did, and I didn't know this until later on, he went back to Pittsburgh, and he was the first guy in the dressing room when they landed. He went right to the rink, and he wrote on the board. He put a really poignant message on the board, and he signed his name. And everybody knows his autograph.
Yeah.
And they won. That's the Game 7 save. Nick Lidstrom against Marc-Andre Fleury. Yeah. Doc Emmerich with the most amazing call.
Oh, yeah.
Just the most amazing call by the doctor. It was so good.
Yep. That's great. All right. Next question. CB-ZC2XI. Pierre, I'm running a power play with quality players, and I'm curious which current NCAA and NHL teams do you think I should watch for creative inspiration? What are your keys to a lethal?
Yeah, so entries are really important. Carolina is one of the better entry teams. I'd watch Carolina a lot on entries. Doesn't mean they're great in the zone, but their entries are really good. So I'd watch what they do. Power play, I'd watch a little bit, believe it or not, what Buffalo does, especially how they try to isolate Tage Thompson. So I'd watch them. I'd also watch Montreal in the power play with what Lane Hudson does in conjunction with Suzuki. I think that's really important. But keys to faceoffs, don't go offside when you're going in the zone. Make sure you win the initial draw, have really good entries, and make sure you get the proper spacing and slot area presence. And if you do those fundamentals, everything else should start to work.
All right, next question. Bill Van Vago. Earlier this year, the Oshawa Generals retired Terry O'Reilly's number. I always felt he was underrated as a player and coach. Me too, Bill. Either of you have any fun O'Reilly stories?
Terry?
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, tough as nails.
Yeah, but what a big, like you were talking about Cam Jansen, just the biggest heart ever.
So I think there's one game, you'd have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it happened because I work with Paul in Hartford. Paul Holmgren, I think, fought him 3 times in one game. Like, that's courageous. And Homer was tough as nails too. He was really tough. Still is tough.
I got one in Hartford too.
I don't have one on Terry because, like, I wasn't in the league yet when he was coaching, but I was coaching in Boston. I was living and coaching at Babson College when he was coaching the Bruins. But I can tell you this. He has a brother, Bill O'Reilly. I'm not kidding you. That's his name. Who's one of the top litigators in Canada. He's an amazing attorney.
Oh, yeah, you told me. Yeah.
And when my father got killed up on our land, he got crushed by a tree. He was working with another man, and there was a lawsuit involved. And we hired, our family hired Mr. Counselor O'Reilly, Terry's brother, and he did great work for everybody. So it all worked out. Everything worked out. So, but his brother's an amazing litigator. You know, was an amazing litigator. Yeah.
I've heard this from 3 separate people and confirmed it. It happened, and it's classic Terry O'Reilly. So apparently, they were coming out of the Hartford Civic Center after a battle with your Whalers there.
Is that with the bus? And he broke the window?
Yes, so you know this too. All right.
No, but I've heard that from so many security guards.
So long story short, they're trying to get out of there. You know, they just, it's a tough way to get out of there. Fans can see and stuff, and they can't go anywhere because a car is blocking the bus. And they're trying to radio up and, hey, can somebody move this car? And they're waiting. And finally Terry says, all right, enough of this. So he goes out and he just breaks the window, and they move the car. But here's the best part. He leaves the guy a note. I'm sorry, Terry O'Reilly, send me the bill.
So I knew about that story. And I'm coaching Hartford, ironically so, and we're playing
it was when you were coaching. I didn't know that. Okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was before.
Gotcha.
And so we were playing in Anaheim. And if you've been in the rink in Anaheim, it was called the Pond back then.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a deep road that goes down to where the buses park and the players get off. And so we had to go to San Jose after the game. And I've told you that you got to bus all the way back to LA and then fly to Oakland and then bus down. And we had a 3-0 lead in that game. Ronnie Wilson was coaching Anaheim, and we lost the game.
Oh, boy.
Well, Pierre wasn't really happy.
You just want to get the hell out of
I'm blaming it on someone else, but I wasn't really happy. Oh, yeah, no. I think Johnny Forsland saved me from getting in a lot of trouble because there was a car blocking our way. And, yeah, I think Johnny kind of pulled me away because I was about to do one of those deals. I was ticked off. Yeah. So, not one of the ones I'm proud of, but I'm not afraid to say it. I made a mistake.
All right, next question. Johnny loves puppies. Jimmy and Pierre, you guys agree on a lot, but what are 2 or 3 things you guys most disagree on, hockey related, of course?
Jimmy and I disagreed the other day.
Yeah, we disagree.
What were you talking about the other day? And I didn't agree with you. It was
the guy who
was Jake Sanderson going after Levy, yes. Martin Arline. Yeah. No, Jimmy was totally against Jake, and I wasn't.
Yep.
Yeah, no. And
I don't think there's something specific that's continuous. It's more organic that it will happen in a conversation. But we disagree sometimes.
Oh yeah. No, we do. But look at we talk a lot during the day. Like I don't even know how much we talk. Yeah. We text, we talk.
But
I respect Jim. I respect what Jimmy's done. Like our program's gone phenomenally well, and Jimmy's a driving force on it. He does a lot of yeoman's work,
and we learn a lot. That's what I like.
What's that?
I said we learn a lot from each other. I think that's the biggest thing.
You don't teach me anything. You're a bad kid. I gotta spank you sometimes.
I let you have fun. Okay, next question.
How many trips now to Europe, Jimmy? Three with you and I.
3 in a span of a year.
3.
All right, next question. What do we got? Formosa Moose. If you were the Habs, would you overpay for Jason Robinson? If so, what would the package need to include?
Unless I had a contract, I wouldn't.
Yeah, unless it's an extension, I'm not doing it.
I wouldn't.
If you do an extension.
So he fits what they're kind of looking for, though.
He's in that right age range.
Yeah, you put him a little bit over there. You put him with Cole Caulfield and Nick.
You keep Slav where he is.
Yeah, Slav is with Demidov and Kapanen.
I like it.
And don't forget, there's this kid from Michigan coming named Michael Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already talked about Swarovski earlier.
They got a lot coming.
Yeah. Ryan, by the way, people that don't watch, you got to watch Laval. Like Reinbacker's playing.
He's starting to play good.
He's playing. Again, one of my old players called me today, and we were talking about him too. He's like, he's playing. I'm like, no kidding, he is playing.
All right, next question. Mr. White, my Devils have a very soft top 6. Who's the ideal player to complement the skill and finesse guys currently have there? Would you package the 2026 first-round pick or plus to make it happen?
But who's the player? Like, is there a player? You know, when I look at Mr. White, he looks like one of my old players, Jocelyn Lemieux. I wonder if it's not Jocko. Jocelyn Lemieux I loved coaching him. He played so well. I just enjoyed having him on my teams.
I'm trying to think of a guy that we've heard that might be out there, Pierre. Yeah, they do need some grit.
For a harder edge type guy?
Yeah.
Not that many out there.
Not that many out there. Everything's
people aren't giving those players away.
Right?
They're not.
All right. What do we got? Next question. I'll get back to you on that for sure, Mr. White. Perlo Wisdom. Is it possible that the Blues are using Thomas to fish the market for Shen? Yeah, potentially.
Great. Perlo's smart, man. He
knows
some good takes.
Yep.
I think the Shen thing's going to happen.
Me too.
I'm hearing too much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's because they dislike him. I just think it's a chronological thing and to give a kid a chance to go win one more cup, you know? Yep. So I do think it'll happen. What about, I mean, I know it's pretty simple to say, but it sounds like maybe Toronto.
Yeah.
Berube thinks the world of him.
So, good call. All right, next question. Zahal 3258. Do you extend Freddie Anderson if you're the Canes? I say no. I think it's time to move on.
I'd say no.
Yeah, it's just time for a reset there. All right.
Yeah.
Next question. Ethan, what's up, Ethan? Do you think Matthew Darce will be open to trading draft capital and being aggressive considering all his years working with Julien Brisebois?
I don't think it's going to be the same situation.
Yeah.
Julien, as much as Julien was there right from the start with Steve, they had a lot more components than what the Islanders had.
And they're usually going for – I don't know if the Islanders are necessarily –
No, they're not going for anything. They're going to build their product. That's what they're doing, and they've done a nice job with it. I know people, it's pretty obvious how good Matthew Schaefer is, but there are not a lot of players that come around your organization like that.
No.
He's spectacular.
Yeah. I think they'll make a complimentary piece, but not something where they mortgage the future.
I'm with Jimmy. I agree.
All right, next question. Big guy. Any stories to share about special equipment, current player requests? Mark Messier, Vancouver required having
he used to change his toe caps we used to hear all the time. I worked with Barry Smith, and his brother Dave was the conditioning guy with the Rangers. So we'd hear two things about Mess all the time. These hellacious bike workouts that he would do, and it was legendary in the league back then. and then how he would change the toe caps on his skates all the time. And I don't know if people realize, like, that's a big job. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
And so he would do that. So I guess that was part of his thing. Sharpened his skates a little bit differently compared to most people. Paul Coffey, his skates were sharpened just a little bit differently. They would be, unless you were Paul Coffey, you'd have a hard time skating on them. His edges were a little bit different.
All right, next question. Ethan, is Casa ready for Detroit yet?
Probably, but right now they don't need him. With Talbot and Gibson, they don't need him right now. But he's ready. Like, you look at their record in the American League, their record is impeccable.
Yep.
Their record is good.
All right, next question. Gabriel Lamb, with Doan getting extended, does that officially signal Buffalo as a buyer at the deadline? Yes.
I love Jarmo Kekalainen's statement today. I don't know if you saw it, Jimmy. He said, I go in every morning, I have a cup of coffee, and my job is to try to make the team better. So I think they're all in it. They want to get there.
Yeah. What are we thinking, Pierre? We got a lot left. Want to do about 3 to 5 more?
Keep going. We're not leaving anybody hanging. Keep going.
Let's keep going. Marco BG. Hey, guys. In his book, Brian Burke says his teams prioritize character over skill in the draft. Pierre, what are draft table conversations like when choosing the best available versus the character players?
No, character was every team I've ever worked for was always about character. I worked for Brian. I watched him orchestrate the draft fantastically well. I worked for Craig Patrick, and he was same type of thing. He always deferred to the scouts. And when I worked for Randy Sexton and Ray Shero in Ottawa, it was always about going for the character guy. And yeah, skill mattered for sure, especially if you're picking in the first 5 to 7 picks. But character mattered a lot. Like, I think I've told the story, the 91 draft, we took Marcus Naslund. I don't think I've ever sat in a better interview, though, than when I interviewed Tyler Wright. I thought Tyler, and he eventually went, I think, 11th overall to Edmonton, maybe 12th. It's a 91 draft. But he maybe the best interview I ever had with a player. It was unbelievable. I watched him play in Swift Current, thought he was a great player, thought he was a really good human being, thought he'd be a captain of a team, thought he'd be in the league for a long time, and all those things kind of happened for him. But character matters a lot. It really does.
All right, next question. Pierre and Jimmy, if you're the Leafs, do you shop Cowan for the extra piece? No.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think they would have already made a move if they were going to do that.
There's just not a lot going on there right now.
They don't have enough.
Danford's a legit prospect on defense. But if you look at, I know their American League team really well, and they're trying with college free agents in particular. And most of those guys will get an opportunity to play in Toronto, but they're probably going to be more depth players, and they're going to be, up at the top of the roster type players. So I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if they trade him.
All right, next question. David Robinson for Pierre. Scariest team in toughness, forecheck fighting you had to game plan for. Did you coach your squad to try not to anger certain players?
Chicago, 1992 for sure. They were tough. They were big. They were mean. They played in Chicago Stadium. We had toughness too, so we weren't worried about that. But you had to identify certain players. So we identified Chelios. We identified Roenick. We identified Belfer. Those were the guys we went after pretty good. And Marchment, we went after Marchment, the late Brian Marchment too. And the reason why we did that was to try to get them off their game. And if you go watch the tape of Game 3, it was a 1-0 win for Pittsburgh. I think we got Belfer and Chelios kicked out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did because we drove them nuts. Bobby Airy was so good at that. Kevin Stevens was great at that. Phil Bork was awesome. Jay Coffey, like Troy Loney, all those guys, they were coachable and they followed the plan.
They knew how to aggravate for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Next question. Hendrickson can play. There are these guys today like Matheson who has lungs for days. Who are the guys you play when you played who had amazing stamina or strength or other exceptional?
Paul Coffey was amazing. Marion Lemieux was off the charts. Pat Verbeek was always really fit. Pronger was amazing. Like he could skate forever. Pronger's the only guy I know that I had the privilege of coaching that could start on the penalty kill on the left side and move over to the right side and then go back to the left side during the entire penalty kill. He was unbelievable like that because he was so fit, and he wasn't a great runner. Like Pronger didn't run very well, but he was always fit. Like I always liked that about Christopher. He was really fit. There were a lot of them. Bobby Airy was always fit. Phil Bork. Most of those guys are really fit.
All right, next question. David Robinson, which current bottom third team should be sellers but aren't quite ready to commit to that path? Is that a mistake, or is there more time for most?
No, I think it's a mistake. I would be. You want to stay, our friend Kevin Ball DuPont always had the great line, the forever 500 whalers. That's what he would call them. It would tick me off when I'd read it too. He'd come in a boss, I'd like mangle the paper. But he wasn't far off.
No.
He wasn't far off. And that's one of the reasons why Berkey did it, I had nothing to do with it. Brian Burke did it. When he set it up to draft Pronger, Berkey left not long after. And I was working, obviously as a coach and a management person at the same time. And we had an offer from a pretty good team in the league. And I'll never write about it. I'll never talk about it because the guys that were on the other end of the line never did anything either. But I can tell you, Jimmy, if we had traded Chris at that time for the deal that was offered, it would have changed a lot of NHL history. I'm telling you right now, it would have. It was amazing what was offered to us.
Yeah, and I'm just with the question. I'm looking at the standings right now, and I don't know, man. It's just so many teams still within striking distance.
No, there's a couple you would say they got to start moving.
Well, Vancouver and St. Louis have already started, right?
Yeah, those are two easy ones.
You put Winnipeg in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would.
They don't have a lot of prospects, Jimmy.
Yep, and they're the same amount of points.
They won the President's Trophy last year, and they should have lost. They should have. They didn't, to their credit, but they should have lost in the first round to St. Louis.
And even though they played well lately, and they're not giving up, I would put Nashville in there too.
Yes.
All right. Next question. Bill Van Vagel, what is a personal favorite minor league rink to visit? Most may not be aware of. Factors could include the atmosphere, viewing angles, food, crowd participation, etc.
Laval is amazing. Hershey's phenomenal. Yeah. When Springfield's packed and they got it rolling, Springy's really good. Rochester's amazing. Go to Ra-Cha-Cha. It's awesome there. Trying to think some other good one. I've been in a lot of them.
Providence is fun. Providence is good. Whatever it's called now.
Well, the old Maine, the Maine Mariners were in Maine, and Barry Trotz was coaching there. They had it hopping pretty good there.
Yep.
There are a lot of them, but those would be some that I really have enjoyed over the course of time. Laval's like going to an NHL game. Laval's awesome, what they do there.
All right, next question. Zahal, if there's a goaltending trade in Montreal, can it be Kakinen on the move? Seems like the plan has changed with Fowler jumping him on the call-up order very fast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. They'll figure it out. But Fowler's in the right spot for him right now. It's good that he's there. I admire the management for doing that.
All right, next question. Gerbs, which team in a playoff spot now misses the playoffs? One from each conference. I'll go with the Kraken. They're currently in a playoff spot as we sit, Pierre.
Mm-hmm.
And in the East, I will go with the Bruins.
Well, so you're thinking Pittsburgh's making it.
I do. I think Pittsburgh makes it.
So I'm going to say Boston in the East. I'm not going against Anaheim. Is Josie in the playoffs today, San Jose?
Yeah, they are just outside.
Just outside, so they're day to day, like they.
So it's in the wild card right now. It's Mammoth at 56, and then Kraken at 53.
So I'm going to say Utah, and I'll tell you why. They're running up the totals right now because I think they have a stretch of 11. You'd have to look it up, Jimmy. I think it's 11 straight games at home. So they've been running it up pretty substantially with the point totals at home. But
they're going to finish on the road.
They're going to have a painful finish.
That's why
I'm going to say Utah.
All right, interesting. All right, next question, Mr. White. What do you guys think about analytics being pushed by ownership in favor of scouts and guys who have their boots on the ground? We hate it.
So, Mr. White, this is a good one for you. I would encourage everybody to go see this quote. and it's from Kyle Dubas of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, yeah. I love
He's
it.
a master analytics guy. Like, that was his big thing. That's how he got an opportunity to be in the NHL. He sold himself as an analytics guy. He said, if I made a mistake, I didn't, and I'm paraphrasing, I didn't realize what players like Blake Lizotte mean to an organization. And so what he's saying is Lizotte is a eye test player, not an analytic darling. And that's why he signed him to an extension. And what a difference. Lizotte playing on a line with Noel Acciari, and Connor Dewar. That line's helped propel Pittsburgh to unbelievable success so far this year.
Yeah,
so I thought that was interesting to come from Kyle.
Yeah, he said something too. I just loved where he said, if there's one thing where where
I made a mistake. That's what I said.
I've consistently done it. And it just his admission.
Yeah,
like,
he admitted it. Like, I respect that. Good for him.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we don't see enough of that. It's great.
No. And he knows, like, Acciari matters. Dewar matters. Lizotte really matters. Those guys are not anywhere near analytic darlings.
Yeah.
They're close.
All right, next question. What do we got? Ethan Russell, how interested are you in Shen if you're Carolina? Don't think I'd be comfortable heading into the playoffs with Stankoven as the 2C. I'm not trying to knock him at all.
No, you're not. No.
He's going to be a 2C eventually.
I'd be interested in him too, but I still think Toronto probably makes a push, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right, next question. Ian Scott Lewis, if they make the playoffs, how aggressive will Buffalo be to give their fans a decent playoff run? Will they go in hard or will they prioritize long-term play?
No, he's going to go. They'll go hard because they've got a lot of young assets. They're the biggest question mark probably for them right now. What are you going to do with Tuck?
Yep.
What are you going to do with Tuck's contract? It's, remember all the clown shows at the beginning? Oh, they're going to trade Tage Thompson. I'm like, what? Who's saying that?
All right, next question. Excuse me. GB8814, Pierre, Gilbert Perreault, or Marcel Dion. Which do you take?
I can tell you those are the guys I watched playing junior hockey in Montreal. Sunday afternoons, you go to watch the Montreal juniors all the time. I know Dion played in Ontario, but I'm going to say Gilbert Perreault.
Wow.
I'm going to say Gilbert Perreault. I will tell you this, Jimmy. I never saw a guy when I was a kid outside of the NHL, because Bobby Orr could really skate. I never saw a guy skate like Gilbert Perreault in terms of speed.
Wow.
With the puck in their stick, he was so good. He was so good.
All right.
I know Marcel was a great player. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Like, that's a hard one, but
yeah,
Gilbert Perreault.
Great question. All right, next question. Bill Van Vago, I recently watched a couple of the Brantford Bulldog games, and wow, what an impressive team. I thought Jeff Luchenko was particularly impressive. The Flyers have a good one. Future projections.
The biggest thing, the question mark about Jet is, will he be able to produce enough offense, Bill? I don't know if he will. He hasn't really done that yet. Jimmy might be able to pull up his stats, but his numbers haven't been great. I think he's more of a depth player on an NHL team. Jimmy, and if I'm wrong, please tell me, but I think the numbers don't project out for him being a really tremendous offensive player.
Yeah, so I mean, his best year came way back in 23-24 with the Guelph Storm. He had 74 points, and he's gone down a lot since then. He's at last year. No, he's got, let's see, 28 points right now.
What were his World Junior numbers, Jimmy?
He had a goal in 5 games last year, and then he had 1 assist in 7 this year.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So that if you're evaluating potential offense, look at his World Junior numbers, best on best in his peer group. They're not outstanding. So doesn't mean he's not going to play. He's going to play. He's just going to be in a different role than what some people think.
All right, next question. What do we got? If the Rangers won't trade with the Habs, could the Habs find a third team to get a deal done, similar to Sens, Sharks, and Panthers with Hoffman? Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I've seen Brian Burke do that.
Yeah. They did it last year. Didn't the Bruins did it last year? The Devils and Oilers, I think.
Yeah.
I
think you're right, actually.
So it happens.
But, yeah, no, it can happen for sure. Sometimes you need to have an intermediary.
All right, next question. Gerbs, IFL fit for Montreal.
He would be a good fit. He's a Buffalo, New York kid. He loves being in Canada. He started out in LA, obviously, but went to school in northern Minnesota. IFL would be a good fit. He'd be a good fit. I like that. That's a good call.
All right, next question. Oh, that's it. Man, we had some great ones today. That was fun.
People are we can't thank you, everybody, enough. Like, we're so grateful. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thanks to Andy Strickland for joining us, talking.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Thanks to Shane working the boards up in Montreal. Thanks to everyone listening and watching. We appreciate it.
Stop agreeing with me all the time.
No.
Thank you.
And just a reminder, tomorrow is our on-campus where we pre-record on Friday, so we won't be live. So no Q&A if you tune in and wonder why we're not answering your questions. Not because we don't love you. It's just because we won't be there.
Hey, be safe out there, too.
Yep.
Jimmy and I are just letting you know, be safe with the weather. If
we got a great guest tomorrow, Chris Wells at St. Lawrence women's hockey. Again, Pierre and I will be at the ECAC women's hockey tournament and men's tournaments in March. We're really looking forward to that. And so that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. And then if we don't see you tomorrow, we will see you next week here in the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.